time I got reincarnated as a slime.
ああ、期末テストか。あ、ティス先生の授業の時間か。よっ。
I gotta admit, having been away for basically a year awaiting this first half to finish, I'm really pleased to be back witnessing this style of animation again. Just as before, it's bright, colourful and calming to my eyes. Also, I'd love if you guys could subscribe. Right now, 21.5% of viewers are subscribed. The norm says it's between 15 and 30%, so I'd love to get closer to 30% or even beyond it, so please consider subscribing, hitting the bell, and leaving a comment to really help me out. I'd really appreciate it. Using this scene to nicely kick off the second season by reminding us, the viewer, of the big things that occurred during the first season.
So.
Also though, as always, I'm such a big fan of the world building and town building element to this anime. I think it's because several games I loved as a kid had that aspect to it, and it makes this anime truly unique. Likely the weirdest win of the video goes to the weather doing its thing just normally, and you'll only understand this if you watch any Anime Sins videos, but basically you'd be amazed at how often the weather only kicks in during poignant scenes, like after a speech or whatever. It's very opportunistic, but here is more normal, and I dig that. Being nice to animals is always a win. Brilliant OP that was. Utterly endearing song, just fills me with positive vibes, and even though they didn't go nuts with over-the-top animation and stuff, it was still very good and performed its job of hyping for the episode and anime in general. Even though it's on the smaller side, if you've been a fan of this channel long enough, you'll know that in anime like this I love a good old look at the world's map. Probably being an RPG fan further fuels that love. Yes, they're not super detailed, but come on man, just look at the sheer volume of characters hand-drawn into that crowd. That's insane. Still very much worthy of a win in all honesty. Loving further examples of how varied his abilities are, consuming clothing and being able to instantly wear them. Man, I can't wait to see that further expanded upon this season. Kazuma from Konosuba being in this anime will never stop being a win as far as I'm concerned, and fear not, I've written the wins for season 1. Big video coming soon, so subscribe so you don't miss that. Yeah. Not walking on the spot. Scenery shot of the city from above that looks lovely. Using this first half of the episode to really remind us all of the many facets that made up the excellent world building that was done in season 1. An impressive feat given how much information was put out there. I totally forgot how on point, timing-wise, the comedic moments can be in this one. Can't show it, but all the ladies in the hot springs. I don't know what kind of animation that is, or maybe it's even CGI, but whatever it is reminds me of some of the stuff from the outstanding Jujutsu Kaisen, and that's a win. Check out my wins video if you haven't already. No matter how you look at it, that equals a win of the highest degree. I love the fact that this anime is really not all about fighting, and yet the animators really do go and throw their all into it every single time with that smooth ass animation goodness, creative shots, and taking the time to do environmental damage and effects. Oh, yoroshiku. 俺
俺をもっと楽しませるがいい。
And then, as if that wasn't good enough already, we get gifted with a second battle! Simply put, one of the most chilled out and relaxing EDs of all time. It felt like a lovely blanket wrapped around my shoulders, filling me with cuddly warmth right there, as the tune envelops the ears and the mind, as the visuals focus on Slime-chan doing slime-related stuff, and the girls chilling, cooking and napping. Lovely. Rotating shot like it's no big deal whatsoever.
いくらなんでもそんなの食らったらただじゃ済まなくない？どうする？止めるか？
うらえ！それまで。もう十分です。
Even though they don't address it, I love how this dude warps in to protect his leader because she's gotten closer to him.
これどうしましょう？うわー！爆発寸前！
This.
グラトニー！
これはうまい。素晴らしい味付けですな。これならいくらでもいけるぜ。うまい。
No idea why, but I'm always loving this kind of stuff. Relaxing and eating together, chatting and becoming friends and such warms my old heart.
では良い考えがございます。我がユーラザニアは果物が豊富に取れます。
Another unique factor to Tensura is of course the trading side of things, heavily praised. During the first season by yours truly, I had great fun seeing them organise trade and everything that comes with it, often comparing parts of it to a video game I'd love to experience.
コビーちゃんも獣人と似たようなもんだし、気が合うだろう。
I swear reactions like this wouldn't be amiss in comedy anime such as Konosuba.
刻印魔法ってやつさ。
刻印魔法？どこに刻印が？
蛇口のハンドルに熱の魔法を刻印した魔晶石を内蔵してある。
Taking the time to explain stuff like this is so incredibly clever, even showing where the rune is on the tap so that it logically works. I love stuff like that.
それで町の警備に混ざってんのか。そういうことだ。
As a dude with two dogs of his own, very much kawaii.
我が国とは比べ物にならぬほど広大な田畑が広がり。
Field-related scenery shot.
リグルがこんなに。
じゃあ、俺はドワーフ王国へ行く準備があるから。
Him being proud of his boy.
ありがてえ話で。本当ですよ。なあ、お前たち。まったくでさ。
I really dig it when anime keep their older characters in the forefront of our minds, like in scenes such as them heading back to the Dwarven City. I praised this extensively during Season 1 as well, managing to juggle so many characters, races, cities and religion, and then mentioning them time and again in order to keep them fresh in our minds, which you really have to do with big stories like this, and it's great to see Season 2 continuing with that tradition.
わざわざ馬車を使わなくても胃袋にしまった方が楽だと言ったら、こういうのは形も大切なんです。
Nicely reversing that cement truck up to a potential plot hole and then filling that bad boy in.
カリュブディスとの戦いでボロボロになった道がもうほとんど片付いています。
本当だ、仕事が早いな。
What other anime would think to bring up something like that about a road? Environmental damage in anime just always magically disappears most of the time, but not here. I love you, mangaka and animators.
元気そうで何よりだ。カイドウか。久しぶりだな、元気か。
It's so good with them bringing back characters from the first half of season 1 like this. That's amazing!
リムルの旦那だ。え？リムルの旦那だ。え？
こうして俺たちは無事ドワルゴンに入国し、早速ガゼル王に面会することになったのだった。
Two separate wins here. Firstly, take one for the music. It's always very pleasant, very uplifting, light and fluffy. Just fits the anime beautifully. Second win is for this view of their city. Always loving how different areas appear visually unique depending on who built it, and this is a perfect example of that.
ペガサスナイツは王直属の極秘部隊なので、普段はこんな風に文官を装っているらしい。
Who thinks of things like this? I swear only a seriously talented writer takes a minor group of characters from another kingdom and gives us a little lovely piece of information about their group like this.
ご苦労様。とても興味深い報告でした。ありがとう。
Dio being in this anime will never cease to be a win. He's absolutely one of my favourite voice actors, full stop. Yet again, just taking a little bit of time to explain away some bits and pieces from the first season without ever once sounding anything close to exposition, and that's writing at its finest right there, ladies and gents.
うまい
They didn't bring it up in so long, I totally forgot that this was a thing with that nice added bit of mystery to the anime.
未来の話はともかく今飲んでいるのはファルムスから輸入しているどの酒よりもうまい成果を期待しているぞ
Using this nice little segue as a means by which to introduce another new kingdom to potentially trade with and deal with, Tensura is really good at using these methods to set up its coming storylines, which in most other anime I feel like it just wouldn't work and would instead feel largely episodic as a result. Even simple things like this are good small points to demonstrate character building, as he now learns to be more kingly and how to address his citizens and citizens from other countries in order to gain respect, and I would imagine it's all going to culminate in something large down the road.
いらっしゃい待ってたわよスライムさ
I like this place a lot!
んいらっしゃいボーイたちスライムさんのお友達ね大歓迎よ
Taking the time to animate these drunks with like 15 frames is nuts. I love how they're demonstrating anger and pureness behind each of their statements in this hilarious scene. That's really clever and just adds to the comedic factor. Genuinely stunning looking scenery shot that must have taken ages to put together.
私は魔法が得意なので
Kawaii! Moving on!
アースロックエアシャット
Smashing the end of episode 3 with some outstanding looking animation out of nowhere! The start of this episode does a good job of moving the story on from this school and these kids by wrapping up their learning and passing them off to a good teacher full time so that the story can progress elsewhere.
ほら、着いたぜ、ミュラン。あれが魔物の国、ジュラ・テンペスト連邦国だ。
I never get bored of this view, especially knowing that it all started with a tiny little village filled with some makeshift tents and such, and now it's this spiralling city. Just really fills me with city building vibes from some games I've played years ago. How can I not drop a win for this after what I just wrote?
失礼しますあ後でぜひ温泉にどうぞ温泉
All I can say is, bless her heart for inviting her to the hot springs. That's all I'm saying. Power levels are often a big deal in anime such as this, and getting a scene here to demonstrate his overwhelming power just gives us a good idea of where he sits overall.
テンペストはこの先貿易の中心地になるとわしゃ睨んでおりますわいそうなればですぞテンペストを目障りに思う国もあるでしょうな例えばファルムス王国など
I feel like this is sneakily putting in the work of building this up as potentially happening towards the end of the first half, as it's been mentioned not just now but a couple of other times as well, just not outright like it was here, and that's a great way of laying the groundwork for the story. Not only another great scenery shot of a city, but also putting it at night for that lovely looking nightlight glow effect and showcasing once again how different the buildings look, with this one almost appearing kind of Russian looking in design.
あの町ができたことによりこのファルムス王国への商人の流入が減少財政状況が悪化しております
Excellent place for a win right here, explaining how Tempest, merely by existing, has affected other nations. Most nations are happy, but one such as this has a genuine reason for their building hatred beyond, we are bad guys and we hate you. But instead it's laid out logically on a worldwide scale and adds a nice bit of political intrigue into this second season.
ご安心ください、王よ。
西方聖教会には何か策があるのか
西方聖教会本部はその魔物の国を神に対する明確な敵対国として討伐する予定ただし未だ被害は出ておりません 討伐するにはどこかの国から助けが求められればと。
Then, as if what I wrote wasn't quite enough, they go and throw into the mix a brand new religious aspect to the anime, using it to justify action against Tempest, and truly now throwing the whole peaceful, city-building, world-trading and pact-signing first 3 episodes into potential disarray as war looms once again.
スライムが治める国だと俺をバカにしてんのか。
Askeladd from the amazing Vinland Saga.
ちょっと旅行なんて久しぶりなんですけど。
笑わせんな。まあ満単位の魔物を操るとなると
Introducing lots of new character Odars who are going to head into combat with new powers Odar! I forgot what this anime's Odar moment to was Odar!
この世界最高って言ってもよ、俺らの世界から比べればゴミみてえなもんだぜ。
まったくだし。
What? Just hit me like a ton of bricks that they're from our world somehow, and yet now they're here, and I'm getting a serious ReZero vibe right about now, plus Shield Hero. Also, I've covered those if you want to watch them.
テンペストに危機が迫っていることなど、この時の俺は全く気がついていなかった。
End of episode. Hype! Can't show it just like in season 1, but Milim's attire still gets a standalone win. There's nothing I can do about that. It's literally in the rulebook that I wrote about where to give out wins. My hands are tied!
できれば毎朝ここで目覚めたいもんだ。
バカ。
いた。
今日はロンメルたちと魔法戦の勉強をする約束で。
冗談じゃねえんだけどな。
Man, they're super sly when building scenes like this. Just a little bit here and a little bit there, a nice compliment and a reaction and such, rather than something huge, short and in your face. That's what she said. Just making it feel like they microwaved a relationship for the arc, if you know what I mean. I nearly lost it then. Animating multiple characters moving within one scene like a bunch of bosses.
まだ役に立ってほしいと願っています。もう一働きお願いしたいのです。もちろん断ったりはしないでしょう。
The mangaka and the animators are really nicely building the coming storyline now as all of the pieces begin to fall into place. Considering this first half is just 12 episodes, it's laid out exceptionally well overall.
完全武装の人間の集団。ファルムス王国の騎士たちだ。テンペストへ向かっている。
目的は不明ですが、ファルムスでは戦争の準備が行われている模様です。
Wow, this anime is just heading into multiple really strong directions as we get our first emergency out of nowhere plot twist!
この町の衛兵が。マジかよ。
ここの魔物はおとなしいって聞いてたが、やっぱり魔物は魔物か。
惑わす者は意識に働きかけるからね。キララの言葉を信じて言われた通りになる。
This girl is highly irritating. I thought we were falling into a sin on the other version before they informed us that this is her ability, and now I hate her for lying.
だからあんたみたいな小娘を触ろうとするわけがないっすよ。
ひどいですよ。それは秘密っす。
みんな知ってるんだから今更っすよ。
一生ついていこうと思っただすがやっぱりやめろだす。
I love how this was so expertly diffused by him. He's come such a long way since the start of the first season, I swear. That was well worth a win.
これは声を波長に変換して脳波に干渉するスキルなのですね。
Not walking on the spot when they totally could have been lazy and done that right there. Praise to the animators for the extra effort. I'm seriously so equally confused and intrigued at how this has come about, in that these guys have got unique skills and abilities and obviously have come from another world, so how did that come to be?
あなただって殺すわ。
お前、その覚悟。
Unexpected plot twist!
この姿を見たらわかるでしょ。私は魔人なのよ。
それが何だってんだ。種族だなんだなんてのは本人の魅力とは全く関係のない話だ。
I'm not delving into anything super deep or anything on this channel, but this message is very important, I think, so it can have a win. This massive turn of events is most excellent. Had it come out of nowhere, it'd be easily worth 2 wins, but obviously we were made aware that it was coming. However, having said that, it's still played out really well and is setting up a massive moment in the anime. This entire goodbye scene between our slime Dono and the kids he came to know so well.
なんか気配が。 ランガ影に入ってろ。
You gotta love the building anxiety right here, and also 50% of the win is for him protecting his doggo by having him disappear into his shadow to safety.
コックどうした体験者。
Rotating shot like this is an episode of JoJo or something!
結界外への空間干渉系のスキルは封じられました。空間転移は不可能です。
これは嫌な予感がする。分身体か。
リムル様、お逃げください。
Double win right here! Firstly, because this guy is another of my favourite voice actors doing the main character from Ore Monogatari, aka My Love Story, one of my absolute favourite animes of all time. The other win is for the beautiful building of tension. It's done so expertly as nothing is shoved into our faces. They're instead just keeping us on tenterhooks, slowly revealing what's happening bit by agonising bit.
はじめましてかな。
Kawaii! Man, Tensura Season 2 be over here getting proper dark all of a sudden, which I recall they also did in Season 1 towards the end. Always nice when an anime as bright and generally cheerful as this one can delve into a darker side.
不肖の弟子に代わってわしが相手をしてやろう。
普段の力を出せていません。
これしき。
Gonna avoid showing it, but take another win for now circumnavigating a typical anime cliche of a master turning up to fight and winning straight away by the old man getting taken out fairly quickly as well. Not only great looking and smooth animation, but hats off to them for the seriously impressive environmental damage all around them on the city during this series of attacks.
心配いらぬ。何があってもそれがしが皆を守る。
This little scene just letting us know how all of these various races of monsters have truly come together as one in this city that they love, as races which may have been former enemies at one time now protect and care for one another. Plot twist! It just keeps on getting worse, damn it! I didn't think they'd turn up in force already! Just excellent twists of the plot of that!
日本人。
そうだ、シズさんにお前のことを頼まれて。
シズ先生に私のことを頼まれた。
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about all of that! Brilliant reminder and progressing of the story right there!
情報？密告者は俺が日本人だと知ってるやつなのか。一体。
Also, this beautiful tidbit of juicy information adding a nice splash of sizzling, mysterious spice to the dish that is Tensura. Not gonna lie, I made myself genuinely hungry. Just so very much animation goodness that I feel must be praised, for again, as I mentioned before, Tensura not exactly being a battle-focused anime, but taking it proper seriously when it does do it. Oh, that mixture of animation and CGI with those impressive sound effects is awesome! This attack is awesome!
死になさい。デッドエンドレインボー。目覚めろ、クラトニー。眠りにつくがごとく、俺の意識はそこで途絶えた。
What a way to end episode 6 with such an epic level cliffhanger, well worthy of a win!
というわけ。
is this battle entering a next level of awesomeness, but it's really opening up the boundaries for what's possible magic-wise in this world, and let's be fair, it was already pretty big.
我が願い聞き届けたまえ万物よ尽きよディスインテグレーション
This attack right here earns the anime a maximum 2 wins award. First of all, if you've seen The Rising of the Shield Hero, my word, that attack was similar to one of a godly nature in that anime. Check out my 2 videos on it if you haven't already, but on top of that, the sound, animation and CGI was done perfectly. I loved that!
死ぬかと思った
Doggo being a proper doggo, and as an owner of 2 of my own doggos, I can attest to this being true doggo-ness. By the way, you hear it all the time, join my Patreon, blah blah blah, but most of these people with massive support be out here with millions of subs, and still they ask for patrons to support them. More power to them, but it feels like a great time to point out that my patrons directly support me, my wife, and my 2 dogs. That's it. Not expensive clothing, cars, and fancy meals. Instead, it's dog biscuits with anti-allergens for my youngest dog, a special one for my older dog as he's getting on, and bare basics for me and the wife, just not dog biscuits. Point being, if you do want to support what I do here, I try and give so much back, and I'm grateful for every pledge I get. So check it out down below if you want to. I truly appreciate it, and now back to the video. This extremely simple explanation of how we got out of it in the end.
ランガは影に入ってろガビルはここで待て
It's been good seeing how he's progressed as a character throughout the series, now having become a true leader issuing out sensible orders that keep his people safe and achieve the mission. Ah, this. Massively showing off Benimaru's impressive power since he's within this insane barrier and yet can still produce so much magic so easily.
あの惨状を生み出したのは私なのよ
惨状
Building up to the reveal of the damage that has been caused at the heart of the city and to its people with this emotional music and the writing. And then the painful reveal itself, truly being far darker than anything I think we've seen before in this anime, and proving the directions the mangaka is content to take it when needed. It's just a real punch to the gut.
人間たちが容赦なく
人間
我々はリムル様の申し付け通り人間たちを受け入れておりましたその結果
黙れ黙れ
Now it makes perfect sense why he was trying to hide this from him, because he never wanted his leader, whom he loves, to be made to feel as though it was his actions which brought all of this bloodshed down upon them.
この女が
国大魔法アンチマジックエリアの影響だけでは弱体化は起きません
Man, that tenseness is so well done, from the anger you can just see in his eyes to the clenching of his fists. It was becoming all too clear what would have happened if the voice inside hadn't interjected. The end of this episode is just brimming with excitement as all of the plans of the enemy are revealed as Tempest and its leaders create their own counterplan, and all of the pieces of the puzzle finally fall into place while some epic music plays. Can't not give a win for old Dio's castle in the moonlight like that. The first 2 and a bit minutes of this episode just going over Clayman's potential reasons for starting a war and how he was able to achieve that via his very unique sounding abilities, that being taking someone's heart away. Then we wrap up the start of the episode just dealing with the girl who had to follow orders, all nicely tidying away loose ends before moving on with the arc in style.
グラトニーにて影響を捕食しますか
もちろんイエスだ
あれおいら助かったっすか
Freaking love his gluttony ability for things like this. So glad the old man is still okay, and Gobta.
うわ、ジジイも無事だったんすか？
もう一度眠りたいかの。
師匠、ご無事で何よりあります。だって小武蔵、小武蔵。
Oh, never expected that at all. I completely forgot that I hadn't seen her since his return. That howl and scream from Gobta at the loss of his friend. That man, take 2 wins for that. Never saw it coming, and that hurts bad, man. This silent reaction and release of magic, that being his own cry of anger and sorrow.
さあ。
いつでもお呼びください。すぐに参ります。
The normally cold and harsh master being kind and comforting to his pupil, and then her coming along to give just a little comfort.
人間と関わったのが間違いだったのか。
告、回答不能。
ああ、俺が間違っていたのか。
告、計算不能。理解不能。
Just trying to sort through his emotions, seeking answers when he cannot find them, feeling useless and helpless at the scene before him, unable to do anything. Just heartbreaking in all honesty and true to real life.
おとぎ話？なんだよそれ。なんでそんな話するんだよ。やめてくれよ。期待したくなるじゃないか。
This genuinely sad story of a young girl and her baby dragon friend who was killed by a king, which then becomes apparent to be the story of how Millen became a demon lord in the first place, and has made her character so much more interesting to me now.
一国を滅ぼし、魔王に進化。それに伴い、絆ある古竜は復活した。しかし、意志なき魔物になられても意味がない。この町は今、結界に覆われているでしょ？
This change in the story in regards to bringing everyone back and how it wasn't a massive ex machina, but instead was made possible by the already described weird magic that exists in this world, and also the fact that the priests have cast a double barrier on the city to harm them, but that very fact is now maybe going to help them.
ファレムスと西方聖教会の連合軍がこちらへ進行中とのことです。
Using CGI in the very best of ways by which to showcase thousands of soldiers marching to war.
欺くためにミュウランは死んだと思わせたかったんだ。怖い思いさせてすまんな。仮初めの心臓を参考に作った疑似心臓だよ。
This entire scene made me remove a sin on the anime sins version, the tricky little tricksters. The end of episode 8 can have its own standalone win for the reveal of the plan to take out the human army that's on its way to invade, as well as the plan to overthrow the king entirely. If anyone knows this song, can you please either hit me up on Discord linked below, or maybe chuck it into the comments? Would really appreciate it, as that's a beyond lovely song. This scene low-key had me a little emotional, remembering just where it all started and how far he's come. Don't even really know why either.
人間を襲わないというルールも、人間が好きだと言ったのも、俺が元人間だったからだ。だから、人間と交流し、仲良くできればな、と。イングラシアに長居せず、すぐに帰還していれば。いいえ、それは違います。いつでもリムル様が守ってくださるという甘えが、私たちにあったのです。
It's awesome to see how different they are to humans in this respect as well, where normally most of us have sloped shoulders, letting it all fall onto someone else rather than take some responsibility, but here, aside from being monsters and not humans, more importantly, they deeply care for their leader and one another and their citizens that they represent, and thus each of them cares enough to take the blame.
だから、俺は人間が学習できる環境を整えたいと思う。俺たちのことを知ってもらえれば、良き隣人になれるのだと。
Tensura is always thinking outside of the box about its most unique world-building aspects, now delving into how best to prepare the world of humans to better understand the world of monsters, and how they can help humans at the same time with their own problems as a trade-off. I'm always in shock and awe at how world-building is handled so damn well in so many different aspects. The mangaka is truly a unique mind.
俺たちにも新たな国を作って意識改革を手伝えってことなんだろ？
分かってるじゃないの、ヨウムちゃん。
Not gonna lie, it totally warms up my heart to witness scenes like this after all of the darkness of the prior episodes, especially the last one. A truly great anime can have you feeling a whole mixture of emotions. An even greater anime can do that same thing within a short period of time thanks to excellent writing and pacing.
まずは東にベニマル、西にハクロウ、リグル、ゴブタ、そしてゲルド、南をガビルとその配下たち。
I don't know why, but I adore the notion of the mangaka sat there thinking all of this out, the characters he created, and the order that they will end up fighting as part of this larger battle, who will group together and why. For me, I'm always amazed by the level of thought that must go into these manga, and I always appreciate the stories these incredible people weave together, and then the unbelievable job the animators then do when taking over and formulating everything into a concise series of episodes. Thank you to all of them. Also, no win here, but thank you to each and every one of you who left such wonderful comments on my latest Jujutsu Kaisen video. It's not well known, but since doing Anime Sins and then Anime Wins full time around 4.5 years ago as of writing this in May 2021, I've written, recorded and edited every single video entirely on my own. These videos take an incredible amount of time to create. The editing alone is extremely taxing since every Wins video has around 1,000 pieces that I personally place together, and I do it every 2 weeks. So yeah, I really appreciated those comments. They genuinely fueled my passion to create, and I hope you can like and comment on this video as well.
任せたぞ。
リムル様、俺たちも昔のように弱くはありません。
そうっす。ゴブ像の仇を取ってやるっすよ。
リムル様より授かったこのオークキングの力。
Great time to mention here as well how the voice actors as a whole deserve a win. They've all done a stand-up job.
では皆の者、準備はいいか。
There's few things better than hearing Kazuma's voice, I swear to God. It gives me an unreasonable amount of joy in funny moments like these. I think 90% of other anime would have merely had men and women standing around powering the barrier, but here the extra mile is travelled, and they have soldiers talking to one another, and tents erected for their long stay. They can take another win for the end of episode 9, beautifully setting up what is likely to be the final battle as all of the pieces move into place across the board, and we get another view of the impressive enemy camp from above that I just mentioned in the previous win.
まったくだぜ。
貴様ら。士気を高めるのは結構だが、今のうちに体を休めておけ。
Bruh, for real? Who takes the time to add little realistic bits and pieces like this in? Get out of here with that! He's so cool and powerful!
ドラゴニューザの戦士たちを我が輩に続け
Kazuma-chan not only coming out with some genuinely awesome voice acting, but the animation and CGI mixture on that attack was stunning. Gonna cut out a few parts, no pun intended, but our goblin boys are going crazy, and it's just wonderful to see, not only animation-wise, but also story-wise, after everything they went through while weakened. This! Nice touch, showing off his unique looking ability right here, but also how he was immediately going for the kill as he swiped at the neck. That was sick!
So そろそろお主の天眼にもわしの動きが追えるじゃろうって。 室流水山。
体が動かない。いや、動けない。
I loved this moment. It just really reminded me of like Isaac Netero moving so incredibly fast with his Nen that to his opponent, they're not even able to move. And this is in spite of his ability already slowing down time. Just shows how fast the old man was able to move. Then right away we're blessed with this series of awesome looking attacks as the next battle rages, and just as things look potentially bad for a moment, Pig Dono pulls out the magic power rot which we hadn't seen since season 1. Tensura is so dark right now, and I love it, but best of all is this man showing his cowardice now that he's lost a battle so badly. My word! This is even more dark than it was just now! Goodness me!
攻撃に特化した暴れ者と防御に特化した生きる者の力。骨を砕かれても頭を切り落とされてもすぐに修復される。そうだよ。
Okay, for this, they can take a maximum 2 wins award. That was entirely unexpected by me. I figured he'd give them a good battle, but he's immediately taken out, and best of all, his healing ability means he's taking damage and pain while being unable to not be alive anymore, you feel me? It's so dark, it's so good, and then they go and give us a plot twist of this guy coming out of nowhere! Not only is the old man a legend right here, but the Orc Lord just as much so for listening and retreating perfectly in time to save himself. This anime is stupidly good right now, should be absolutely ashamed of itself.
心を殺したか。予定より早いのではないか。仕方あるまいて。こやつはもはや使い物にならなかった。京屋の切り裂く者もキララの惑わす者も主に当たる前に失われてしもうた。
This is amazing right here, truly expanding the mysteries to an entirely new level for me as the lad is taken out and the talk begins of wanting to have transferred their powers to this guy as was planned. This is insane that with the story being at the stage it's at, that the mangaka was still thinking outside of the box and coming up with new storyline tangents that are incredibly intriguing. Using magic to give himself a new body over and over again. Unreal. I'm so impressed as I write this, you have no idea.
死ね。神の怒りに焼き貫かれて。メギド始ま
The best end to an episode from the entire anime, for me I think thus far. What an episode that was as he starts to take out the entire enemy army with such ease. Incredible episode.
この私のユニークスキル、率いる者によって生き残っておる者を強制的に集めます。その者どもを肉の盾としてお二人を守ってご覧に入れましょう。
Moments like these really give you a good understanding of the difference between Rimuru as a leader and say this king who is more than happy to sacrifice any amount of lives in order to survive, whereas he could never and would never allow that. Are you kidding me right now? Such a great twist as they lay out a plan to escape only for him to be immediately taken out like that. That's my favourite kind of plot twist. Ones you never see coming because anime basically never do them 99% of the time.
その顔立ちは日本人だな。町を襲撃した異世界人か？
側だけな。中身は違う。
This is so intense!
魔物の国になど手を出したのが間違いだった。どうすれば生き残れろ。
Not gonna show him getting taken out, but yeah, take 2 wins here. How can I not for a double plot twist? They had so many plans in the works, and all of it amounted to nothing against their foe. Outstanding, man! He lopped the king's arm off! This is not a drill! What a terrifying ability that is! They had all lost hope and so were defeated instantly. I love this anime. It's grown so much this season. I'm in awe.
とにかくこの眠気をなんとかしないと。
国ハーベストフェスティバルは途中で停止不可能です。
I've suddenly got a bad feeling. Someone has survived and the Harvest Festival is causing him to be semi-defenseless. It just keeps on getting better. I need help!
ランガ
は我が主よ。
最重要命令だ。俺を守って町まで連れ戻れ。
Totally forgot about Ranga still being there. Thank God for Ranga, doggo. Take a good boy win. Keeps on getting better and better. It's really going and pulling a Jujutsu Kaisen right now.
リムル様、早く主よ。マントを面白。熱変動耐性が機能していないかもしれない。
I can't not shout out this scene where everyone is again showing their concern for their leader. Far more than any other citizen would in this world, I feel. It's lovely to see.
確認しました。種族スライムからデモンスライムへの超進化。新規耐性、自然影響無効、状態異常無効、精神攻撃耐性。
So many new skills and there are resistances on that!
核撃魔法ニュークリアカノン
It keeps on getting better. You need to relax, Tensura. You must chill. Excellent short animation sequences as they briefly battle, and the reveal that this demon is somehow extremely at the top of his class, and yet at the same time is now a servant to Tempest. Tell me more! Oh man, such a great end to the episode as her hand twitches and her eyes slowly open back up. So good that he has managed to revive them all, and it was just done in the best of ways through logical magical powers and such. The entire resurrection affair looked awesome. He's got a new pal in this archdemon who seems desperate to serve under him, and it just feels as though the story continues to reach new and exciting heights.
おはようしよう。無事に生き返ったようで何よりだ。
はい、リムル様のおかげで。
Feels really good to see them all back like this, not gonna lie.
リムル様、
お目覚めになられた。
Actually taking the time to draw each and every single character in this shot. Dedication!
そうか。っていうかお前も流暢に喋ってないか？
いいな。私は前からこんな感じです。つまり気のせいです。
そんなわけあるかい！流暢になっとるやろがーい！
念のためですが、魔王となったリムル様にちゃんと理性が残っているか確かめさせてください。シオンの料理は。
After so much darkness over the past few episodes, it's genuinely such a joy to have this nearly 3-minute long segment of comedy about her cooking. I'm such a sucker for cool ass looking armor like this. I love that in fantasy anime. It looks so cool. You go and give me 5 minutes to breathe and enjoy a quick comedic moment and then throw us all back into the action already? Take a win for including so much action in this first half season.
Dragon Nova! ユーラザニアが消滅したというのか。
はい、俺が見届けました。
I'm predicting that the second half of this season is going to be crazy, and I for one cannot wait. So many new characters being introduced, so many twists in the story, alliances changing, cities being destroyed. It's truly become so much more than it was at the start.
誰だっけお前。ああ、そうか、まだいたんだ。
まだ
長々と引き止めてしまって悪かったね。もう帰っていいよ。
I needed this.
ちなみにどれくらい？
以前の10倍です。
こりゃとんでもない化け物に進化しそうだ。
Dude's now even stronger than he was, and Rimuru is 10 times stronger than he was or something, and everything is now super strong, and the fight against Millen will be nuts!
問題が重なりすぎているんだ。クレイマンの件、ファルムス王国の後始末、それから魔物を敵視する西方聖教会への対応。
Beautifully setting up exactly what they're going to be facing during the second half of the season. No small amount of awesome story right there, that's for sure. Hype!
ベルドラの解放を行えば、西側諸国の動きへの牽制効果としては
Getting what may actually be a first full world map that I can recall seeing. Not gonna lie, him getting released finally from his prison and getting a cool ass new body and unique look genuinely made me smile ear to ear. They can take a final win here for this first half. I loved all of it, from the steady world building, which is some of the best I've ever seen, to the character growth of many characters, to the plots and intrigue, the wars and setup for the coming story, and then mix into all of that excellent voice acting, animation and CGI, and it was truly an epic first half for sure. As always, if you're still watching, please be sure to subscribe and attack that bell icon with ferocity. You can also pledge on my Patreon if you want to help feed my doggos using a link down below. There's also Discord there and everything else. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll hopefully see you in 2 weeks' time for what I hope will be everything great about Demon Slayer Mugen Train next up. Nathan Bird, Bird Without a Word, Tyler Warner, PK Fan, Ali 50, Ryan Anderson, Isael Caldera, Chris Harris, Yona Stahl, Manolo Saucedo Munoz, Luis Hernandez, Kim Munt, Jason Davies, The Element Taylor Wars, Manuel Morales, Carnito, Dark Lord Bloody Soul, Blitzcloud, Keeper, Steelers, Amir Keenan, Sentimento, Jeffa6263, Master Tank, Kevin Nauta, Brendan Krier, Storm 970, Gaten Gaza, Matt the Marshmallow, Kaj Vorzelman, Jordan Samuels, Sean Graves, The Epic Commander, Crimson Shadows, Kyle Farmer, Oliver Gable, Kimi O, Adora Blue, Matthew Ditzworth,